What is up, people? What's going on, PSS family? Let's go. How are we all doing on this fine day? It is, of course, Monday morning, and we are back with another weekly outlook for you guys. Now, as always, guys, we really appreciate all the love that we get on all the content. We, of course, dropped our new video, Keep It Simple, on Friday. This hopefully is going to really bring a lot of traders back down to the position they need to be in, which is the fundamental core of trading, which is buying and selling in mass. Now, we've spoke about this before. All of the concepts we teach and all the principles we teach is something that we have built up over a long period of time. We like to focus on simplicity and overall the principles of the market at their core. So hopefully you guys can join us along and trade in the same way. Now, a lot of you are already super consistent in the way that you trade, especially a lot of the community members in the Discord. Link is in the description. But if you're not, don't fear. Always go back to the same principle, which is keep it simple. So guys, let's start this off, and we're going to start looking at Euro, as this was our first markup this week. Euro is right here. So this was given out yesterday, so of course the 1st of September. How are we in September already, guys? It's craziness. And we're looking at a continuation from the idea that we gave out on the 26th. Yeah, here. So you'll see when this decides to load that we gave this idea, which was for price to ultimately come higher within the range and take the high, which would have honestly been a crazy move, or for price to give a deeper pullback. Now, we do give a description of why we're looking at this and why we're expecting this, because of X, Y, and Z. You can go and read that or watch last week's video. But you'll see when we play this that price literally followed the model that we had in place, which was a slight pullback and then a sell-off, hit this area, slight push, then sold off again, and we find ourselves at the base of the range that we are currently in now. So for this week, again, we have literature as always. If you want to find the literature, you can go down into the description, find my TradingView link, and you can of course read that there. And we also post this in the Discord and on our LinkedIn. But what we're looking at for this week is the following. We're looking at price action overall, creating the liquidity across these highs. Now, of course, this is not, like I've said before, this is not trendline trading. This is not, retail. It may look very similar, and ultimately this is what retail do, is highlight highs that follow the same path. But what we're looking at is institutional direction, which is the main bulk of orders. What angular trajectory are they taking, whether it's up, down, sideways, whatever way it's taking, because this is going to signify the significance of the move that comes after this. By that I mean it gives you a good gauge on where you should look for price to pivot from and to. So we're creating a lot of liquidity above these highs here. And we took all of the liquid formed on the previous week. So we're now looking for where have these orders ultimately come from? Well, they're coming from this lower area. Now we know that from this high down to this low is a higher time frame order block. So we have a refined area within here that we're looking for price to play within. So break it down, all we have is a high, a low, well the low's a little bit lower, but a low, and an area that we're looking for price to buy from ultimately. But because we know the markup we gave out last week ended up playing to the sell side, that tells us that we're predominantly expecting price to sell off slightly more. Now on the daily time frame, we actually have two bearish gaps as well, which we break down in our Discord. If you want to go and look at that, then it is in the free trade setups channel. But the main principle here is we either break our current trajectory and we start testing the range high that we have. We haven't established our range low yet, so we're still waiting for that. If we break out of that range, then I expect a bullish push bringing us up to this liquid high right here. Now, again, if we don't test this high, and let's say we just play within this range and then we short down, that's fine. The next point I'll be looking for any long movement is going to be this order block that we have marked up, which again is a refinement of the higher time frame OB right here. Okay. Of course, if we don't react at this point, liquidity at the low will be the next stop. So it's really simple. As always, it's super simple. We keep it realistic and we keep it in a format that is super digestible. So main principle to look at here, we're expecting a rather large short move to come, and we want to see bullishness come in after this. And if we don't, that's going to signify a higher time frame shift in order flow, and that's going to change our bias on the higher time frame, and ultimately going to cause us to think price action may be looking to follow higher time frame biases, which are actually short on this pair on a longer term basis, so weekly, monthly. So again, just one quick look back at the previous markup that we gave out. Let's go back over to this right here. The previous markup, which was given out last week, and we broke it down in our video as well, that we stated that the chance of a deep pullback was high. It was very likely that price was going to pull back deeply, and we said this here. High probability moving forward of lower prices. Okay, so we're telling you this stuff like week on week. What is the higher probable move? We told you it was that sell side move. We of course had the areas to buy from, but unless we see interactions there, we don't take them, right? It's simple as that. When we play this, price sold off exactly as we called. So again, same principle here. We're not saying that we're right every time, but what we're saying is read what price is telling you. If price is selling off here, we are predominantly following the sell side, but we are in a higher time frame bullish move. So expect the pullback to meet an area that could give us some bullish movements. Okay? So focus on range high, area of demand, and the low below the area of demand. So you only really have 3 areas to focus on. You, of course, are going to need to make some refinements in terms of your entry criteria. This is going to be dependent on 1, what kind of entry criteria, 2, what time frame, and if you're looking to counter trend or trend trade in this overall pair. Okay, so that is Euro. And remember, if you are just joining the live stream, we massively appreciate all the support from you guys. And if you have missed the beginning of this, just rewind it back slightly and you'll see where we started. So next pair is gold. As always, we always do euro and gold because they're the main pairs, that most popular pairs, and the main pairs that we have on our feed. So same scenario here. The only difference is with gold is that we have a principle in play which is more of an encouragement for people to short this pair than price to actually go short. So keep that in mind here. So we had our higher time frame trajectory here, and again, as stated before, this is not a trend line we're expecting price to follow. This is the overall angular trajectory for the major investments coming into the market. So the same principle is at play here. If we start breaking down the trajectory, it tells you that the investments are being pulled from some of these major points and that a overall pullback may occur in an area relative to the previous orders. As stated before, we have shown the same principles in the same concepts and different variations of the same concepts in our YouTube videos, in our Discord live sessions. Everything that we do revolves around the same principle here. So the main area to watch is this high. This is our target high, okay, right here. But these are the lower points that we're focusing in on because we know price action is probable to come down and pick up a better pricing before creating a new all-time high. That's one of the factors we have to really remember with gold, is that we are sitting at the highest price it has been at in a long time. Now, keep it in perspective. If prices are meeting new all-time highs that they've never been to before, is it going to be an idea to sell from the highest point, to sell from the most expensive point? Well, yeah, of course. that's a great place to sell. But what we don't want to be doing is trying to consistently sell price action which is traveling up, because that is counter trend trading. So we're going to wait for an area of interest or a high liquidity point to take price back into the liquid which is forming above this high here, which is going to be significant if we pull back down into these ranges. So the main points here that we're looking at, guys, are the areas of demand. One here, one here. One being at the base of the internal bullish structure here. We also have the liquid low in play, and then we have a refinement of our higher time frame order block, which was left on, I believe it's the daily. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it is the daily time frame. It's a refinement of that area. So it's very simple. If we continue to pull back up towards here and we start to see a selling motion, then we'd expect this area to be the next point price stops. Again, if we see bullish momentum coming in around the market, around this area, then we'd look for higher pricing. If we see price selling off, again, expect it to react around here, and vice versa. If you do not react, you continue to sell. If you do react, you look for longs. So it's a very, very simple and overall trend-driven direction. If we refer back to the previous markup, I'll show you that now. Okay, so the 26th, which was right here. Notice how we had a similar thing. Gold, 4 hour. We had it to blow straight through the highs or to pull back to an area to go long. Pull back to an area to go long, pull back to an area to go long. That's the main principle here. We did again state the idea of, let's get rid of these. What we wanted to do, overall looking for longs, not looking for that sell side, but it's looking for the ideal pricing for gold to go higher. And if you look what happens, we just go long immediately. Now, we do come back down and interact with this area, which again is the trajectory, and we end up going higher again. But it's one of those things. If it doesn't align with your overall outlook at the beginning, that's fine. Maybe you can make some changes midweek and catch an internal trade. But if it, doesn't deliver the way you expect it to, that's fine. Trade a different pair. Okay. Remember, you're going to make more money on the days that you decide not to trade inappropriate price action, if you were, than the days that you force yourself to trade inconsistent and inappropriate price action, because most of the time you will come out the loser from that scenario. So that is the outlook for gold and euro on our 4-hour time frame. Massive thank you to everyone that has joined the live stream. As always, we really do appreciate you. Please hit the like button and drop us a comment if you have enjoyed this. Please go back and look at the previous weeks and just follow them forwards, because you will see a huge consistency in the terms of, we're not telling you what direction price is traveling in, but the points we're looking for reactions. So even if you counter trend trade at all of the relevant points, you generally pick up a short move within there, not necessarily selling, but a short-term move within there. And this is where you will begin to actually get some true consistency behind your trading, because you're not trying to find the low and the high of the whole move. You're not trying to buy here and ride it all the way up. You're just finding a short move from here to here. You're finding a little buy move from here to here. You're selling from here to here. Very small sections of the market you're collecting and taking for your own. Remember, you don't have to be correct every time. You just need to be consistent in following your rule set. So as always, guys, have an amazing day. I hope you all have the best week. It is a New York bank holiday today, so don't expect anything crazy. I'll catch you all in the live stream later on today in the Discord. Peace and love, guys, and I'll see you all very soon.